What's up, guys? Welcome back to Ringside Talk. I'm Stephen Laurie. I have Eddie Montanez with me today, and looks like he's gonna be on full time now because there's been some complications with Pupo. So we're just gonna move on. But but anyway, we got to start off with the Israel Adesanya knocking out Alex Pereira after taking all the hate and all that. Man, he knocks him out in style, and then not only that, he taunts his son while he's crying. He's shooting a bow and arrow at his dad while he's sleeping cold on the ground, and I just think that's awesome. I love Israel Adesanya. He's possibly my favorite fighter in the entire UFC. He's definitely one of them, and I love that he got his belt back. And honestly, I think after that knockout on Alex Pereira, you can make the case now that Israel Adesanya is the greatest middleweight of all time. Not only that, he's the greatest middleweight champion of all time. And I saw this post. I don't know if it's 100% true, but he's the first middleweight champion to lose his title and then get it back. So that's, I don't, yeah, in my opinion, he is the greatest middleweight of all time. Not taking anything away from Anderson Silva or nothing like that. He's great. He's one of the best fighters to ever grace this planet. But as of now, Israel Adesanya, in my opinion, is the greatest middleweight of all time. For sure. And I know you like Adesanya too, man. And it's great to see. I was hype at Luke's, man, when he won. I was screaming, standing up, throwing shit. I was hyped up. But yeah, dude, he's great. And to knock him out in style like that, man, when he's against the cage, dude, taking knees, and he just hits him with the two left hands, man. Like and people are saying that's lucky. That's not luck, dude. That is not luck. He hit him twice with the same hand, and then he knocked him out. And then started hammer fisting him while he's on the ground. That's not luck. Are you kidding me? Pereira, when the last fight, when he had him knocked up against the cage like that, that was luck. That was an early stoppage, dude, people were saying. I don't think it was an early stoppage, but some people were saying that it was. And I think that was lucky, man, to be honest, because Adesanya was winning that entire fight. You know what I mean? You watched it. Like, it's crazy, man. It is.
Yeah, Adesanya, how you said, is one of my favorite UFC fighters ever. Like, I think the guy's an absolute beast. I love the MMA shit he's into. Like, it's actually insane. But with the prayer shit, like he said, I was watching what he was saying before the fight. He was saying how he's going to try and, like, way back a little bit because he knows Alex is very, like, aggressive and he's going to want to go for it quick.
Right.
So Izzy was just playing possum with him. You could just tell, like, Izzy's taking the shots. He knows, like, he's going to get hurt, obviously. But once he saw the opening and he went for it, it was over.
He set that trap.
Izzy's so good at, like, how you said, like, if how he was winning the whole round, how he's winning the last fight until that. Like, if there was one time where the bell literally saved Pereira, like, he was saved by the bell. If there was 5 more seconds in that round, Izzy would have walked out.
Yeah, dude, at the end of the round. Yeah, man.
But how you said about him taunting his kid, that's great. Like, I don't care if the kid was only 5 years old when Izzy got knocked out. Like,
yeah,
Izzy wanted to do it. He don't care.
He deserves that moment. You know what I mean? I feel the same type of way.
I definitely think, though, like, Izzy said he doesn't want the rematch, but I definitely feel like he has to give Pereira one if Pereira did want one. But he's the champ. It's his
right.
decision. But
right.
I definitely do
he
think
feels like he ended it.
I do think another fight would be amazing.
I think, man, because Alex Pereira announced that he was moving up to light heavyweight, 205. I think he will end up either fighting like Yuri, or maybe he'll go because Yuri's been hurt, man. So maybe he'll just go right in and get a title shot, to be honest with you, because that would be a great match too. Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira. That would be insane, to be honest with you. And say Alex Pereira did win that fight and he became champion, he could say he calls Israel Adesanya out while he's champion at lightweight, you know what I mean, or light heavyweight.
He moved up once too. Israel.
Yeah, Adesanya moved. He did move up. He lost, but he has experience in that weight already. You know what I mean? So, say Alex Pereira is the champion at light heavyweight. He calls out Israel Adesanya, says, "Come up to light heavyweight, fight me for the belt." Adesanya moves up. Not only would that be one of the best fights of all time, not only one of the best trilogies of all time, one of the best fights of all times. And think of the numbers that fight would put up.
It would be it would be one of the most anticipated fights of all
time. Oh my god, that would be insane. Adesanya moving up a weight to fight Pereira for the trilogy, double champ status on the line. That would be the biggest fight of all time. That would be bigger than Conor Khabib. It would be. Honest to God, it would be, just because of the whole trilogy thing and all the momentum built up between those two. It would be the biggest fight ever. It would be. That's something that they really need to consider if Alex Pereira becomes champion. They really do, because that fight would put up amazing numbers. Honest to God, it really would be. And I'm getting so sick. I know we were just talking about Hamzat too, man. It's so annoying seeing him on social media all the time, like on Twitter, calling all these people out, dude, after they win the fights. But Hamzat's great. He is good. He's one of the best prospects to ever come into the UFC. He is good. He's phenomenal. But he calls all these people out, man, after they win these fights. But he couldn't even make weight to fight Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? He's posting pictures of him holding 3 belts at the same time, saying he's going to be triple champ. But he can't make weight for Nate Diaz. You know what I mean? So he just annoys me. He was calling out Adesanya when Adesanya won, and I just think I don't even think Adesanya would entertain that. I don't. People say, "Oh, he's scared of Hamza. He's scared of Hamza." No, he's not. He's just not stupid. You know what I mean? He's just not stupid.
I definitely think Hamzat's a great wrestler. If he were to make his way and back everything up, I definitely do think he would have a chance to be a champion, maybe even a
Oh
double.
yeah,
He's
absolutely.
one of the best wrestlers in the whole UFC. Like, he's an absolute beast. But for him to go out on social media, talk all this shit is just stupid when he ain't even making
Absolutely.
Nate Diaz. Because in my opinion, he would have horsed Nate Diaz
He
back.
would have torched him. Yeah, he
Yeah.
would have torched him for sure. And I think a lot of people know that. And it's just I don't I think Hamzat's great, but I just don't really like him because of that. You know what I mean? I think he's great in the octagon, but as like his social media personality, I don't really like that shit. But speaking of Nate Diaz, man, that fight was just confirmed with Jake Paul. That's gonna be crazy, man. I think a lot of people have Jake Paul winning this fight just because he's never lost to a UFC star that's came up to box him. He's the younger fighter. In my opinion, he's more in shape. Nate Diaz can eat punches though, dude. Like, do you see the scar tissue that he has on his face, man? Like, he bleeds so much. Like, it does look like he gets beat up real bad, but that's just the scar tissue on the side of his face. You know what I mean? And like up here from taking all those shots that he has over the years, man. That's why he bleeds so much. It's not that he's getting beat up. Nate Diaz is just, his skin is just in such a rough shape from doing MMA his whole life. Honestly, same thing with his brother. His brother's the same way, just not as bad. Nate Diaz I love Nate Diaz, man. I'm Nate Diaz Army for life. He's one of my favorite fighters ever. When he was fighting McGregor, that was just so hard for me because I loved them both. I was just like, oh my God, who's going to win? Or not who's going to win, because I really thought McGregor was going to win. And then he ended up choking him out. And it was just like, wow, that was one of the craziest upsets I've ever seen. So Nate Diaz definitely has it in him, dude, to win a crazy upset. You know what I mean? And he can box. He can. He's probably good. This is probably going to be not Jake's toughest matchup. Obviously, Tommy Fury can box. I think that was obviously his toughest matchup. Tommy Fury won. But I think this is going to be the best boxing matchup that we see come out of the UFC to box Jake Paul. You know what I mean? Because Nate Diaz can throw his hands. He can. You see him stand up with anybody, dude, in the UFC at mid-30s. You know what I mean? He's mid-30s, and he's standing up with these people, banging with these young kids. So he definitely has it in him to last the whole fight with Jake Paul. I don't see Nate Diaz getting knocked out. No way.
No.
Not like how Woodley and them got knocked out, dude. There's no way.
With Nate Diaz too, like, in my opinion, I think he's one of the best scrappy boxers in the UFC, like in the UFC history. Like, I remember watching this guy versus McGregor. Like, Joe Rogan literally put it in the perfect way. It's just the notorious McGregor versus just complete nastiness. And Nate Diaz is nasty. Like, his hands are lightning quick. Like, yeah, he's how old? I don't know how old he is. And we know Jake Paul's young. He's more in shape, obviously. But we talked about this before. The only move that Jake Paul uses a lot is his overhand right. And I'm sure Nate Diaz knows this. So in my opinion, I think Nate Diaz is going to win this fight just because Nate probably knows that this kid can't do anything besides an overhand right unless Jake Paul's going to go out doing different shit.
Right.
We all saw how in that Tommy Fury fight, he was really dependent on that overhand right, and Tommy knew it was coming. And plus, I'm sure Jake's working on his cardio and shit too, because in that Fury fight, Fury looked like he could have went 3 more rounds after the fight was over, and Jake Paul was dead.
He was gassed
So,
after round 2.
so
Absolutely gassed.
how you said, with Diaz, like he was standing up with these young guys in the UFC. I obviously, like, it's not going to be any wrestling. It's just going to be straight hands. But that's Nate Diaz's specialty. It's just stand and
Exactly.
bang. So I definitely think Nate Diaz is going to come out on top. I think it's an upset if Jake wins, honestly, because I think Nate Diaz could really kick this guy's ass bad.
Yeah, I definitely think that Nate has it in him to go the distance with Jake Paul, but I just think Jake Paul, if it goes the distance and they do end up going to decision, I think Jake Paul will get it. But I mean, if a finish comes, man, I think Nate Diaz will be the one getting that finish. To be honest with you, because he's been doing this for so long, man. You know what I mean? It's not some guy that doesn't. It's not some wrestler that's coming out of the UFC to just start boxing and fight Jake Paul. You know what I mean? No, this is a boxer coming out of the UFC to box Jake Paul. So this is a very good matchup, and this is going to be one of Jake Paul's toughest matchups for sure. He definitely needs to take this camp dead serious. He definitely needs to work on his cardio. Like you said about the overhand right, he needs to definitely try to mix it up a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because he was throwing that overhand right at least 10 times around.
Oh, yeah.
At least 10 times around when he fought Tommy Fury, and he was gassing himself so bad when he came out. When he came out of his corner round 2, he was sweating so bad, dude. I was saying to Mike, I was just like, he's done. He he was sweating so bad, dude. Like, that's just you can't do that. You can't. Jake Paul can be so good too. I don't even like Jake Paul, but he can be so good, man. He does have a lot of potential, dude. He takes his camps. He trains hard, Jake. He does, man. He wants to be a boxer. He wants to be a professional. He wants to be in the WBC. You know what I mean? He wants to be a champion. And I think he's on that path, but he's just not quite there yet. You know what I mean? He needs to stop he needs to take it way more. He takes it dead serious. I don't want to say he needs to take it more serious because he does take it serious, but he needs to cut all the bullshit out of his life and just focus on this. You know what I mean?
He's got to start fighting boxers, bro. He's got to stop fighting UFC.
Yeah, he needs, and like YouTuber, he needs the whole celebrity boxing thing for Jake Paul needs to stop. If he wants to move up, he needs to fight guys like Tommy Fury or better than Tommy Fury. You know? So this is a highly I can't wait to watch this fight, honestly. I was so happy to see that it got confirmed because when Jake Paul knocked out Woodley, dude, I posted on Facebook, I swear to God, I was like, Jake Paul should fight Nate Diaz next. And now they're fighting a year later. So I can't wait for this. I've been waiting to hear this get announced for a long time now. Yeah, I thought it was going to happen before Fury, honestly, because of the whole thing with how they were trying to get the whole Fury thing for a couple of years there. I thought that he was going to be next for sure. But going off of that, man, one of the I don't want to say all-time greats because he's not, honestly. I don't even think he was that good. He had a decent run, 2019, whatever, but Jorge Masvidal retired. It's a pretty big thing because he's been the BMF for a long time. He holds that belt, and he hasn't really been willing to defend that belt. You know what I mean? So I think a good topic to discuss is who do we think the BMF is in the UFC now that Jorge Masvidal is retired? Who do you think deserves that? Who should be fighting for that BMF belt?
Dude, I love Kevin Holland, bro.
Kevin Holland?
He's a beast.
You think? You know who I think, dude, 100% deserves it? Justin Gaethje. I think Gaethje deserves it, and I think that we should, like, if we see a Gaethje Poirier 2, that BMF's going to be on the line. It is, dude, because those are two finishers, man. You know what I mean? People say that Gaethje is the most exciting fighter in UFC history to watch, and Dustin Poirier just goes out and finishes people. You know, Poirier finished Gaethje a couple years ago. He beat him. He had to get ripped off him. Like, that's a massive fight, and I think that BMF should be on the line. But honestly, Alex Pereira, you can make a case that he's the BMF too, or John. There's a lot of crazy fighters in the UFC right now, man. There's a lot of better fighters that deserve that belt.
I just like Kevin Holland, dude, because
I like him too.
He just talks shit while he wrestles, like it's so.
I know while he's in the cage.
It's so dumb.
I like watching him.
His post game and not post game. His post fight interviews are hilarious. Like, awesome. I just think he's so cool and like.
Me too, dude. And I think if he would have, if it wouldn't have been on short notice when he fought Hamza, and if he could have had a chance to take in that camp like longer and more serious, that would have maybe came out different. You know what I mean? Kevin Holland you can make a case if he had a good camp, Kevin Holland would have beat Hamzat, and I think we definitely need to see that fight again too. Because I like Kevin Holland a lot, man, too. And
Kevin Holland called out Masvidal for the BMF belt. He said once Burns, he goes, if you don't retire, once Burns knocks your ass out, we could fight for the BMF.
Yeah, that would be awesome, dude. Because you can't. It's so annoying because Masvidal held on to that belt for so long, and he knows he's not the BMF. You know what I mean? That's why he's not defending that belt. He's just like, nah, I'll keep the belt till I retire, because he knows he's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He knows he's not. And there's a couple fights that you can make a case for that you would want to see with that BMF on the line, but I for sure think that it should be Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje fight. Did I say Justin Poirier?
No, you said Dustin.
Did I say Dustin? I think it should be Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje fighting for that BMF for sure, because they're in the same weight. Nobody will have to make a cut or nothing like that. It's a fight that everybody wants to see. It would be good to see that fight.
And Masvidal, dude, like he's like, in my opinion, how you said he didn't have he didn't have the best run. I don't think he's ever the only BMF belt's the only belt he's ever won, right? He was never a division champion, correct?
No, he was never a champion.
Yeah.
He honestly only had a run for a little bit there, man. In 2019, he beat Askren and he beat Darren Till.
Seconds, yeah. He has the quickest knockout in history.
Yeah, he has. He's had his moments. I didn't mean to cut you off there either.
No, you're good.
He's had his moments. He has his highlights, but he only has a couple of those highlights. You know what I mean? I'm kind of glad that he's retired. Honestly, man, I'm excited.
One of the best highlights I've ever seen with him, dude, is how we were talking about Nate Diaz earlier. That Nate Diaz fight.
He beat Diaz too.
Yeah, when Nate Diaz's eyes literally coming out and he's telling the doctor to get the hell away from him, like here's the fight. Like Nate, that's also a thing with Nate Diaz too. Going back to that fight, like Nate Diaz is not gonna go down, bro. Like if his eyes popping out of his head, like he ain't getting knocked out by Jake Paul. He ain't getting knocked out by Jake Paul if he's ready to fight Jorge Masvidal with his eye poking out. Like he ain't getting knocked out.
If he does get knocked out by Jake Paul, then Nate Diaz just made a bag. Because there's no way Nate Diaz is getting knocked out by Jake Paul. And if he does, then he just got paid off 100%. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if that happens, then Woodley got paid off too. Because people say that Woodley leaned into that punch. You know what I mean? The way that Jake Paul threw it and that Woodley kind of fell into it, that people say that was kind of fixed. But I didn't even watch that fight, honestly. But going back to the Kevin Holland thing, man, I was really surprised that he got that knockout, because not only was he coming off a losing streak, he was coming off a broken hand. So for him to throw that straight punch and get that knockout was really impressive, in my opinion. I had him actually in my money line, dude. I had him losing. So, but that was great to see him get that knockout, because I like Kevin Holland a lot. It's great to see him back in the win column. But talking about exciting fighters, while we're on the subject, how about Max Holloway, man? Ending Arnold Allen's undefeated streak in absolute style. That was a great fight. It really was a great fight. Hats off to Arnold Allen too, because he really put up a great fight, man. But Max is just in the striking department. He's so well-rounded in all of striking, punches, kicking, everything. If you go back and watch that fight, he throws his punches with such precision and speed. Even his kicks too, man. He just knows the right places to hit them. There's so many pictures like on social media and stuff like that of Holloway hitting like liver kicks and stuff like that, and throwing it in like the right place. And like, you know, they have those slow motion pictures.
Yeah.
There's so many videos like that you just see of Max Holloway hitting perfect liver shots and kidney shots and stuff, and people just like going down. Because he just knows where to throw, you know what I mean? And his significant strikes, he leads in UFC history. He has the most significant strikes thrown.
Yeah, he had 3,000. That's
crazy. Number 2 is Frankie Edgar, and he's like 1,200 ahead of Frankie Edgar. He surpassed 3,000 significant strikes on Saturday night. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And Arnold Allen too, man. He's still pretty young. I think they said he was 29. He's going to be very good. He really is, man. I think before Holloway's only 31 too, man, and we've seen so much of him. You know what I mean? I think definitely before he retires, we see an Allen Holloway too, without question. And while we're on the Holloway subject, what do you think's next for him? Do you think he's done in this division? You think he moves up or down, and maybe tries?
He's in the middleweight.
Featherweight.
And who's the champion in there? Pierre.
Who?
Is it George St. Pierre the champion? In
George St.
featherweight?
Pierre is retired.
No, I thought. Oh wait.
Alexander Volkanovski.
Oh yeah. My bad. I got him mixed up. My bad. But what's it called? So yeah, I don't think he's gonna stay in the weight class with Volk because Volk's literally unbeatable. Like I don't think like he's a freak. Like he's a monster. Like
they kind of look like each other, dude. St. Pierre and Volk, to be honest.
That's why I got him mixed up.
Yeah,
they kind of both bald and shit.
Yeah.
So Volk and I don't think Volk's beatable. Like we saw Islam beat Volk, but in my opinion, I thought Volk won. But like I definitely don't see Holloway staying in there just for the fact that I don't think anyone in that division is going to touch Volk in a long time.
No chance.
I think Volk's going to retire the champion. He's going to have to relinquish it probably because no one's going to beat him.
No one's going to beat him.
Yeah, but I think, dude, like how you said, Holloway's a freak. Like I remember when no one was in the arena before, he was literally beating someone up, punching them, looking at Joe Rogan, literally saying, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC."
Yeah, while he's eating punches, dude, he's screaming, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC."
Yeah, like to surpass 3,000 strikes, significant strikes in the UFC is ridiculous. Like you're just that's 3,000 strikes of pure pain that you're applying to your your opponent. Like it's not just a little strike, like a little head tap or something. Like these are 3,000 strikes that hurt.
And like you said, this is an octagon, dude. This isn't a boxing ring. You know what I mean? For him to throw 3,000 significant strikes is insane. I think he is probably the best boxer in the UFC. I think the only other one that you could say is probably better than Max Holloway is Dustin Poirier. But I think I'm starting to lean towards Max Holloway. I think he is the best boxer in the UFC. Poirier is great too, though. Poirier, yeah. I like them both. They're two of my three favorite fighters are Adesanya, Holloway, Dustin Poirier. Those are my three favorites.
Probably Holland, Adesanya, and I like Leon Edwards a lot just for the fact that
I'm starting to like him a lot.
Because he came out and he did the unthinkable. Like a lot of people thought Usman was gonna come out and get that belt back quick, like at the snap of the finger.
I did, dude. I did too.
Edwards came out and he knew what he had to do and he did it. Like Edwards,
and he's going like this, dude, while he's done. Bruce Buffer's announcing, dude. Leon Edwards is going like that.
Mm-hmm. Like I also got to put John Jones up there too. I think that Stipe fight's really going to be insane.
All time for sure. Yeah, like Jones is my favorite.
I definitely do think that John Jones and Stipe fight's going to be insane. I know it got pushed back a little bit. It's not going to be in July anymore, but once that fight happens, I definitely think that fight's going to sell ridiculous amount of tickets. It's going to be one of the great. It's already one of the most anticipated fights of all time because Stipe Miocic is arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time, and John Jones just came.
He is the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe, for sure. He is. It's not even. I don't even think it's arguable.
Really? I mean.
Yeah. I don't think it's arguable.
John
Stipe
Jones
is the best.
John Jones.
He's there now, but Stipe's done so much more in that division.
Yeah.
John Jones won't be able to, at his age, do as much as Stipe did.
You think Stipe is gonna give him? You think Stipe's gonna give him a run for his money? You think he's gonna be a real good fighter? Do you think John Jones is gonna come out?
Nah. I think Stipe gets finished.
I think
Ngannou finished him. Jones will get it done too.
I think Jones is John Jones is John Jones. Like you can't really.
I mean, dude, look what he did to Cyril Gane. Jumped on top of him and he starts choking him. Like that's insane. That is absolutely insane for somebody to come back 3 years, move up
and finish someone in less than 2 minutes,
and finish him in the first round like that
in less than 2 minutes. You don't fight for 3 years. You're getting accused of so much coke shit, steroids, blah blah blah. You don't fight for 3 years. You come back. You literally look like I don't know. He's a beast. Like I think that Stipe fight's definitely going to be. I think the first round will be good. I don't think John Jones finishes in the first round.
Me neither.
I think him and Stipe have a really good first round. I definitely think Jones is going to win the first round. I think Jones finishes in the second or third. I don't see it going 4 or 5.
Yeah. I think we definitely see Jones get it done, but I just don't think it'll be a quick finish.
I think second or third.
Me too. Or if it goes to the distance, which I don't think there's a chance. Honestly, I don't think it's a chance. There you could. Stipe's well-rounded, man. Stipe's very well-rounded. He can do it all, to be honest. But I just think he's on the verge of retiring. I
Yeah,
think.
I actually was watching some. Like, I watched Stipe's not last two fights, but I saw both. I just watched both of his fights against Usman. Oh, not Usman, my bad, Ngannou.
Ngannou
And
beat Ngannou the
he
first
beat
time.
Ngannou the first time. The second time, he just looked like he didn't even want to be there. Like, he just looked like he just wanted the fight to end. I don't know what was that about. Stipe in that second fight, he just bull rushed him, got really tired, and Ngannou just killed him at that point. But then the first fight, dude, Miocic was really good. He played his cards perfect. In my opinion, he didn't win by decision, right? He knocked out Ngannou, correct?
I don't know actually.
Well, I think he won by decision, but Stipe really dominated that whole fight.
He did, dude, and he did for sure. He's a long reigning champion too. You know what I mean? He's done. If you go back and look at all Stipe's done, he's done so much in the heavyweight division. I don't think you could make a case for anybody else to be the greatest of all time in heavyweight besides Stipe. I truly don't. Truly don't. But going off of that, we have Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis fighting this Saturday. This for me is the most highly and just for me, not like not saying like anything else, but is the most highly anticipated boxing fight. I've been waiting to see this for so long. Me and Mike, man, have been talking about this since Ryan Garcia has been coming up. This is literally a massive, massive, massive fight. Gervonta Davis finishes a ton of people, dude. He knocks pretty much everybody out, and he's just so smart in the ring. You know what I mean? His fight IQ is just phenomenal, and this fight is literally power against speed. Ryan Garcia has power too, he does, but Tank
His
has more
speed is
power.
ridiculous.
His
Garcia's
speed,
speed is ridiculous.
yeah. This fight is nuts, man. It really is because Garcia could knock Tank out. You know what I mean? Tank really,
He could knock him out, and we won't even know it.
yeah, he might just
He can
drop
knock him out, and he could just drop it. We don't even know he hit him. Like, it's
until they show the
ridiculous.
slow motion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, it's ridiculous.
absolutely, dude. I agree. But if this fight doesn't go to a finish, I think Tank gets the decision. I just think his fight IQ is phenomenal. You know what I mean? He's just so good, man. He finds a way every time to get it done, and so does Garcia too. You know what I mean? But you have to give it to the boxer that has more experience at the higher level. You know what I mean? Tank's been doing this a longer time. I think like 5 more years. He's like 5 years older than Garcia. How old is Garcia? 23?
Yeah, he's like 23, 24.
I'm pretty sure Tank's like 29. He might be 28. But yeah, this is. I don't think these two will fight one time. I don't. I think this is the start of a trilogy for Tank Davis and Garcia. It is. I think Tank gets it done this time.
Yeah, I think Davis comes out on
I
top.
think Tank gets this done. I do, and I think Garcia tries to call for a rematch, and I don't know. Garcia has a mouth on him. You know what I mean? He's always talking, dude, and this is why I'm starting to lean towards Tank because Garcia is gonna end up jinxing himself, dude. He's on social media swearing to God he's gonna knock him out quick, this and that. He's just saying all this crazy shit. You know what I mean? And Tank's just being humble. He's just like when you see Tank getting interviews, he's just like, yeah, I'm taking my camp serious. I'm ready to finish this kid. Show him who's the more experienced player in this game. You know what I mean? And when you see the interviews for Ryan Garcia, he's just saying, yeah, round one finish. I'm gonna kill him. Don't get me wrong, Garcia is really taking it dead serious. Do you see how big he is right now? This is the best shape Garcia's ever been in.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He is ripped right now. He is. This is gonna be a different Ryan Garcia that we see, and I cannot wait to see this fight. I really cannot wait to see this fight.
Yeah, I
It's
think
gonna
this
be
fight's
great.
gonna be one of the greatest boxing matches I've ever seen. Like, this is how you said really high anticipated. I remember watching Mayweather and Pacquiao. Like, this is probably definitely not more anticipated than that, but this is gonna be crazy. Like, I definitely think how you said Tank's gonna come out on top because of his IQ. We know Garcia's speed is ridiculous. Like, his hands are literally the speed of light. And how we said, like, there is a chance Garcia could just knock him out with just one hit, and we don't even know what happened. Like, it's insane. So,
And the same thing applies for Tank too. he could throw one punch and just see Garcia drooling. You know what I mean? Because he's got that power behind him, man. He's a small dude, but he's so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
This is a massive fight, and I can't wait to see it. I really can't. But we're gonna wrap it up with that. Thank you guys for watching. There's a lot of stuff happening in the sports world right now, man. Jalen Hurts, highest paid player in NFL history. The fade will be coming out this week. We're gonna have a ton of stuff to talk about. Baseline comes out in a couple days too. They're gonna have a ton of stuff to talk about also. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.